Did you get the email?
Censorship. Warning. Censorship. Warning. Censorship.
Hi, everybody. Ezra Levant here. Hope you're doing well. I have some bad news for you, but it's not surprising news. Last night, just after 5:30 p.m., I received an email from YouTube saying that they will demonetize, effective immediately, demonetize Rebel News completely. And you may know that in 2017, along with most conservative websites, most conservative YouTube channels, we were greatly demonetized. We were taken out of the general ad pool. Our YouTube revenues fell by about 85%. We were on track to make $1 million that year from YouTube, and that was crushed by 85%. It put a great many conservative YouTubers out of business. We came up with an idea, crowdfunding, and we survived since then. But over the last 3-4 years, we've slowly built back up, mainly during these live streams, so especially over the last year. Every day we have a live stream, and super chats have replaced that commercial ad revenue to the point where on any given month, if we do a good job here on the live stream, we make more than $30,000. In fact, this year we were on track to make $400,000 from YouTube. Now, that's not a lot of money. If we were on the left, if we were the Young Turks or whoever on the left, we would be making millions of dollars a year. If you have 1.45 million subscribers like we do, between the ads and the super chats, that would be millions of dollars. But because YouTube largely demonetized us on the ad side and has otherwise throttled us in other ways in their algorithm, and they don't deny this, they tell us this, but we managed to build up our commercialization of our site to about $400,000 a year. And that's very important to us because that's the livelihoods, that's the payroll for, I don't know, 7 people, depends on who in the company. And you'll have noticed over the course of the pandemic in particular, we have expanded our team to give you excellent coverage. I think we're doing the best work we've ever done at Rebel News. I mean, just thinking of the people who we've added to the team, the on-camera talent, Tamara Ugolini, Drea Humphrey, Lincoln J. Andrew Chapados has done TV work. Mocha Bezirgan has done TV work. Sid was doing TV work. Raheel doing, like all these names and faces, the new generation of Rebels on the telly. And then there's the folks behind the scene that you don't see. We've just hired a new video editor, producer, cameraman in Vancouver named Matt. Just in the last couple of weeks, someone in Toronto named Catherine. We have a large team because you can see the number and the quality of videos we do. And that's not it. In the last year, we've made civil liberties a very important part of our project too. So we've hired a full-time civil liberties lawyer who does nothing but fight the fines cases for us. My point is that $400,000 that we now make through YouTube goes towards the things I've just listed. In fact, I've probably listed more than $400,000 worth of salaries there. And that was cut off in a single email last night. Now, I sent a copy of that email to Justin. Did you receive it? And I redacted the name of our YouTube boss, our strategic partner manager. And we can put it on the screen. I don't want to give her any heck because she's just the messenger. I did phone her last night, but can you pump that up as much as possible? There we go. Hi, Ezra. I'm reaching out to tell you that due to repeated violations of YouTube's ad-friendly guidelines, including those related to harmful and dangerous acts, along with other channel monetization policies, the Rebel News channel has been suspended from the YouTube Partner Program, and as a result, its monetization on YouTube has been suspended. Channels that earn money on YouTube must follow YouTube's channel monetization policies, which include YouTube's community guidelines, terms of service, copyright, and Google AdSense program policies. If you want to monetize videos with ads, the videos must also meet our advertiser-friendly content guidelines. Violation of our YouTube channel monetization policies may result in monetization being suspended. Yeah, you just told me that. The channel can reapply for YPP in 30 days. More details here. Channels that reapply to be a part of YPP will be readmitted only after they've addressed the issues that triggered suspension. I realize this is a lot of information, so we're happy to hop on a call today or tomorrow to discuss in more detail if helpful. I'm here to help you navigate this. And then our friend. So I immediately called our strategic partner manager and I said, this is a shock. We have not had any strikes, as they're called, no copyright strikes, no policy strikes, no terms of service strikes. A strike is just what it sounds like. 3 strikes, you're out. We're extremely attentive to those things. We have a dedicated email address just for those. I looked through them. Nothing. We've published 15,000, maybe it's 16,000 or 17,000 videos now. I haven't checked recently. Like, it's an enormous number. And we've never violated YouTube's terms of service. We just don't. And to be suspended immediately, well, my first question to our friend was there what video? What was there? And I was given no answer. There was no particular problem that was cited. And you'll notice at the beginning of any videos that we think that might talk about the pandemic or lockdowns or the COVID, we have that warning video. It's only 2 seconds long. It says warning, censorship, and we say YouTube requires us to advise that some of the contents or opinions expressed here are not medical consensus, or whatever the wording is. You see it all the time. We put that up at YouTube's request. They said, you've got to, if you talk about edgy things about the pandemic, you've got to have a warning there. All right, we put the warning up, and we indicate that we don't do so voluntarily. We do so under some duress, but to keep our terms of service kosher, we do that. So you've seen that for months. We've been doing that for months, and that has been sufficient. That is a political censorship. Obviously, having the wrong opinion is not a true violation of, violence, for example. But you'll notice they said one thing, and I'm going to ask you, Justin, to click on it. YouTube says that we violate the harmful and dangerous section. And I thought, what? And I asked our friend, can you tell me what video? Because I look over our stuff, I don't see anything. Do you have that there? If you click on it in the email, it takes you and click to expand. You see a guide to self-certification. There we go. So do you see it says harmful or dangerous acts? Can you pump up the size 1 notch for me here? So content that promotes harmful or dangerous acts that result in serious physical, emotional, or psychological injury is not suitable for advertising. All right, can you even think of a single Rebel video we have ever done in 6 years that meets that test? So if you click it and you see that Justin expanded it there, it says you can have some stunts or acts that are slightly dangerous. Okay, that we never do that. And then they have examples of activities where risk is involved with no visible injuries. You're allowed to have stunts, fail compilation videos without a focus on graphic injuries. Pranks and challenges where there is perplexity, confusion, or discomfort but no risk. We don't do any of this. Medical misinformation, education or advocacy about safe practices related to medicine and health, such as how to quit smoking. We don't do that. Vaping and tobacco, we don't do that. Scroll down. seriously injured. Can you scroll down on the page there a bit, Justin? We just don't body modification. We don't do any of that. And then it says you can turn on ads, but only brands who opt in for high-risk activities such as skyscraper parkour or depicting serious. We don't do that. Harmful or dangerous acts where graphic injury is presented. We don't do that. Have you ever seen any of that on our site, ever? Fail compilations. Focal depictions of moments with graphic injuries. We don't do that. Pranks and challenges that create extreme emotional we don't do that. Pranks involving gratuitous amounts of body fluids. We don't do that. Vaping and tobacco. We don't do that. You should turn off ads for this content. Focus on accidents, pranks, or stunts that have health risks, like drinking or eating non-edibles. We don't do that. General harmful or dangerous acts, glorification of harmful or dangerous acts or acts preceded. We don't do that. Glorification of danger? We don't do that. Motor vehicles with shocking scenes and injuries? We don't do that. Fail compilations resulting in death? We don't do that. Pranks? We don't do that. Suicide? We don't do that. Emotional distress? Like just nothing. Showing the consumption of substances in such quantities? We don't do that. Promoting the use of weapons? We don't do that. Okay, medical misinformation. I thought maybe this was it. Promoting or advocating for harmful health or medical claims? We don't do that. Videos that advocate or provide instructions on non-scientifically proven medical info, such as how to heal cancer at home. We don't do that. Untrue statements about the cause, origin, or spread of COVID-19. We don't do that. We talk about true statements, and we talk about different medical opinions and scientific opinions, and we mark them as opinions, and like I say, we have the Google-approved warning at the front. But we don't say that COVID is a myth, and that's spreading myths against what is accepted as normal and regular medical protocols, such as anti-vaccination. We don't spread myths, we talk about the politics involved, and we put the warning label on. Denying that certain medical conditions exist, such as HIV or COVID-19. We don't deny they exist. Content which discourages taking a COVID-19 vaccine that includes false or misleading claims about the effects or distribution of the vaccine. We don't engage in false or misleading claims about the effects or the distribution of the vaccine. We have a range of opinion on the subjects, but we don't engage in false or misleading claims. In fact, if anything, we cite claims themselves from the Pfizer to the CDC. Examples, content claiming the vaccine will cause infertility. We don't say that. We say it hasn't been tested on pregnant women. We don't know if it'll cause infertility. Contain a microchip. We've never said that. To be used to euthanize parts of a population. We've never said that. Content which promotes, condones, or otherwise advocates for gay conversion therapy programs or services. I just don't even think we talk about that. Vaping and tobacco. We don't talk about that. And that's it. That's the end of it. That's the entire harmful and dangerous section. We have done none of that. Okay, thanks. We've done none of that. But I asked our Google rep, is there a particular video? And I was given none. So we went from $400,000 a year in Google monetization to zero with no warning, immediately in a single email sent at 5:30 p.m. And when I called our rep, who was very friendly, I said, is there any, can I see? What are you talking about? Was there a video? No. No, it's just in general. No. In general. And by the way, A10, our VP, reminds us because we left our multi-channel network a couple months ago, we actually reapplied for the YouTube partnership program just a couple months ago. So they said yes to us just a couple months ago. What's changed in the last 2 months? Not us. We've been saying pretty much what we've been saying. Now, I want to tell you how important this is to us. $400,000 is the difference between affording or not affording 7 staff. Reporters, video editors, web editors. We're firing on all pistons these days. We've never done more work. We've never done better work. We've never had a bigger effect. We've launched our Civil Liberties Project. And so I see three options in front of us. The first one, which was suggested in that email from Google, is that we stop saying things that Google doesn't like about the lockdowns. Stop being critical of the lockdowns, and we can reapply. That's the clear message. I mean, I got on the phone with our Google rep and I couldn't get anything more specific. But they did link to harmful and dangerous, and the only thing that could possibly be relevant, we don't do pranks, we don't do fails, we don't eat weird things, we don't show traffic accidents, we don't talk about tobacco or vaping, we don't talk about gay therapy or whatever that was. We don't talk about any of those things except for the pandemic stuff, and we always talk about it in a factual way and in a legitimate way, and just to be safe, we put the YouTube approved disclaimer on there. So it's got to be that. Like in our 15,000 videos, we've never had a fail compilation. Do you remember any fail compilations? We've just never done it. It's clearly got to be the pandemic stuff. Everything we do about that is meticulously documented or footnoted, as they would say. We show our proof, we show our evidence, we have people on to talk about these things, we put a disclaimer. That's what this is about. So one way for us to come back into compliance and get our 400 grand back is to change our opinions and to support the lockdown and to cheer the 1 jab, 2 jab, 3 jab, 4 jab. I mean, you saw our story the other day about Pfizer. They're really excited about having a 3rd jab. They think that's a real revenue opportunity. I was quoting from their own investor press conference. So if I suddenly become a booster for Pfizer, who's obviously a huge advertiser with Google, I mean, Pfizer's a mega corporation, big pharma. If I suddenly get with the program, and if I ignore the fact that AstraZeneca, just today, the U.S. Government authorities, the National Institute for Health, publishes a warning about AstraZeneca. If I don't talk about that, I'll be good with Google, I'll be good with YouTube, and they'll give us our 400 grand back. So step one is to change everything we believe in. Just that. Well, then what's the point? We're not a company that exists just to do the corporate game. We believe in things. So their implied suggestion, just stop talking about things we don't like and start talking about it in a way we like. That's a no-go. The second option, which I'm going to call the Huffington Post option, the BuzzFeed option, is just to cut 400 grand worth of salaries. I don't know if you saw this, but a week ago, BuzzFeed, one of those useless, so gross, woke, leftist clickbait sites, bought the Huffington Post Canada, actually bought all of Huffington Post, that useless, woke, gross clickbait site. And the first thing they did was fire every single Canadian reporter. In fact, it was sort of sad and funny at the same time. They didn't even tell their staff. Their staff went to their website, Huffington Post Canada, and it was gone. Imagine waking up to work and you go to your website and it is gone. They literally deleted the entire site. So that's how you do it when you're a bloodthirsty leftist. You just say, oh, I'm bleeding money, fire every reporter. I mean, it's just junk anyways. So option one is change everything we believe in. No thanks. Option two is hack out $400,000 from payroll. Well, that's a huge chunk of our team. That's on-air talent, that's video editors, that's researchers, that's web editors. That's the BuzzFeed Huffington Post approach. And I suppose you do that if you absolutely have to, because unless you're independently wealthy, when you have a $400,000 hole, you have to fill it, or it will sink your boat. You got a $400,000 hole in the bottom of the boat, you got to plug it. So the third way is the option I'm choosing. And I'm going to announce this plan later today in some more formally. And by the way, Sheila and David are standing by. I just wanted to come in and tell you about this. And they're standing by. I might go and leave them to finish the show. Like right now, people cannot do a super chat on this channel. We have another channel called Rebel News Clips where you can still use the super chat, but I presume that's going to be shut down in a matter of days. So we need a bigger solution. We need a more long-term solution. We need a plan B for after YouTube. Because do you think this is the last shot they're going to fire at us? This is them taking 400 grand away from us. They think that'll kill us. I think they're wrong. I think we'll survive because of the affections of our viewers. That's the thing. The 400 grand they're kicking out from us, most of it is not ad revenue. I mean, I'd have to look for the exact breakdown. But it's you. It's our live streamers. You know, every single day, either me or Sheila and David or sometimes Andrew and sometimes Kian, we do the live stream, right? When you chip in your super chats, that's the bulk of this $400,000 a year I'm talking about. They won't even let you do that. So they're saying, oh, harmful, this is harmful and dangerous political commentary. Obviously the advertisers on our page don't think so, but even if they did, why would YouTube ban individual viewers from giving us $5 or $10 or $50? What's that got to do with advertising? What's that got to do with, if we're not violating the terms of service, if we're not calling for violence or whatever these strikes are, if we're not stealing copyright? And I asked this of our YouTube rep yesterday. I could understand banning us from ads. I wouldn't agree with it, but I could understand, okay, this is too edgy, and all our advertisers are woke capital, and you know, if you're not promoting Trans Awareness Week, you're going to be cut off. Okay, I get it. But why would YouTube ban me from accepting super chats from you, our individual viewers who like something, support something? What does that have? What is the fact that woke capital, that big pharma hates us? Okay, I get it. I accept that. Feelings mutual. Why is YouTube banning us from taking a super chat from you for $10? Why are they saying you can't do that? They're saying you can't do that, and that's going to knock 400 grand a year out of our company unless we bend the knee and suddenly get with the lockdown program, or we do the full BuzzFeed and cut 400 grand worth of salaries. But that's not why I'm in the media business. I'm not in the media business because I think it's a ticket to riches. I'm in the media business because I have something to say, and so do my friends, and so does the country. You know our motto, it's telling the other side of the story. That's the motto. Telling the other side of the story. So YouTube is saying, no, you have to tell only one side of the story, the official side. No. And then they're saying, well, fine, then you can't tell the story because we're going to knock 400 grand out of your budget. You got to lay off staff. No. So here's what we're doing. And we had a little huddle last night, and then we had a big staff meeting this morning, and we're working on this today. The first thing I want to let you know is that we are not unprepared. We're not completely prepared. I don't think we're ever completely prepared for anything in life, let alone here at the company. But we've had brushes with deplatforming in the past. And we knew that YouTube was a weak link because they're owned by Google. And once upon a time, Google believed in freedom. In fact, they even had a motto, don't be evil, right? I don't know if you remember that. That's like 10 years ago, which is like a century in internet time. Now, they are fully in sync with the deep state, with woke capital, with China. You know, I had dinner with some Google executives a while back, and they said that Google employees don't even think of themselves as American. They think of themselves almost like another country, like a global force. And in fact, these guys I had dinner with said that, in fact, the foreigners working at Google in California are more patriotic Americans than the Americans are. It was a very interesting and terrifying insight into the mind of what Google sees itself as now. And Google and other companies that refuse to do business with the American military but are happy to do business with the government of China. I find that alarming. I find the mindset of Google very much departed from the freedom orientation of a decade ago. So this is not new to us. Listen, as I said to our Google rep last night, I said this to her. I said, any company that will suspend the channel of the President of the United States won't care about some Canadian-based conservative site with 1.5 million viewers. Like, I'm kidding myself. If, like, I asked her, I said, can you get some details on why we're suspended? Is there any sort of appeal? And she said, well, I'll ask the team. That would be like me having my bank account closed and saying, can you ask the president of the bank to review this? Yeah, Ezra, I'll get right on that. You know, I talk to the president of the bank every day, the bank teller would say to me, and I'll ask him to take a second look at your case. No, it's not going to happen. So, option one, stop telling the other side of the story and get with the woke capital, big pharma, China, deep state, whole point of view. Not going to happen. Option number two, cut $400,000 out of the budget. I suppose if you have to do that to survive, you have to do that. But I have a better idea, and that's option three. And we're going to work on this idea because it's not fully formed. But the idea is twofold. Number one, to capture the value of our YouTube channel, which is you, the viewers, and to say, hey guys, you've been so loyal to us for 6 years, and especially this past year. It's you who have given us the 400 grand. Frankly, YouTube takes a 30% commission of that, I think you know. I don't have a lot of time for YouTube. I think they are globalist, corporatist, anti-free speech, woke. You know, I think they lack the American spirit of liberty. I think they don't understand the First Amendment. I think they're unfair dealers. I don't have a lot of time for YouTube, but what I love about YouTube is it has brought you to me and me to you. 1.45 million people found us through YouTube. So what I want to do is I want to say to each one of you, I believe that YouTube is going to continue down the road they have told us they're going down, and they will suspend us and deplatform us. Demonetizing us is a punch in the gut to take 400 grand a year out of us. But why would they stop? Because I've just told you I'm not going to stop speaking the way I speak, and our team is not going to stop speaking the way we speak. We're not going to stop doing our accountability journalism. We're not going to stop doing what we're going to do. So do you think YouTube will stop its deplatforming? Step one, demonetize, including taking away the super chats, which shows this is not about woke advertisers not liking us. Fine, take away the advertising. You know, it's too bad, but I can live without it. They're stopping you from giving. So my first goal is to bring you with us. Can I know your name? Because I don't know if you know this, but YouTube does not ever tell us who our 1.45 million subscribers are. Did you know that? So when I say we've got 1.45 million subscribers, I don't know who they are. YouTube won't tell me because that's their power. If I knew who my 1.45 million subscribers were, I would just bring you with me. That's how YouTube traps content creators. We work for YouTube. We put the exciting content on YouTube that draws the 1.45 million subscribers. YouTube gets a cut of everything, and they never tell us who you are. And so I would say to you, we are going to be deplatformed, whether it happens tonight, or a month from now, or a year from now, or maybe 5 years from now. It will happen. It's inevitable. And so after YouTube, may I have the ability to say hello to you, to contact you, to tell you where we are. And so as long as YouTube still allows us to make videos, and I say again, that could end tonight, my number one goal on YouTube is to get people watching us to give me their name and email so I can contact you when the lights are turned off. And so we're working on a new website called afteryoutube.com. Afteryoutube.com. Sign up before we're deplatformed. With all the attempts to censor us by big tech and even our own government, yeah, that's a factor too, don't forget. The risk of being deplatformed from YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter is greater than ever. YouTube just informed us that our channel is being demonetized. That's going to cost us about $400,000 a year in lost revenue. We're going to need your help to pull through this. Here are a few ways you can help us. Number one, and this is the most important, you can sign up to receive news directly to your inbox. I want to change the wording of that a little bit. Sign up, tell us your email, your name and email, so we can contact you when we're deplatformed. Can you have them rewrite that? Tell us your name and email address so we can contact you when we're shut down. That's the wording for the first one there. 2, you can follow us on other platforms. I would even say plan B, : you can follow us on other platforms. And I should tell you that you may know we already have accounts on Rumble, on BitChute, and today in fact, we've got another meeting with Rumble today. We've had a meeting with them already. We're setting up accounts on Twitch and DLive and Locals and Odyssey and another system that I don't want to say their name yet, that we expect to debut soon. So we will, by the end of the week, have 6 other video platforms, and within another week, a 7th. So YouTube will be one of 8 platforms you can get our videos on. YouTube is larger than the other 7 combined, I know that. And we like YouTube because of that, that's why we're there. But YouTube doesn't like us because we don't share their Silicon Valley left-wing big tech point of view. So my goal is that in these 7 other places, number 1, we'll still have a voice that isn't censored. Number 2, you can find us there. We're going to stop pushing traffic to YouTube. So for example, those of you who go to rebelnews.com, you'll know that we embed YouTube videos on the site. By the end of the week, we hope to stop that practice, and we will embed other video platforms instead. So you'll still get your Rebel content at rebelnews.com, but we will not be directing you to a company that's about to turn us off. On Twitter and Facebook, by the end of the week, I hope to be in a position to stop forwarding, stop linking to YouTube from Twitter and Facebook. Again, this is not to punish YouTube. They're so big they don't care about anything. This is, why would we take you, our friendly viewers, and push you to a company that is going to take your name and take your money, take your eyeballs, take your data, and then cut us off from you. So by the end of the week, we're going to transition our company to posting only links to these other sites, so we're no longer pushing people to YouTube that YouTube's just going to delete. We're going to have little pop-up ads in our YouTube videos by the talent saying, hey guys, I don't know how much time we have left on YouTube. They might delete us at any moment. Please go to afteryoutube.com just to give us your name and email address. So that's why we have to rephrase that page, Margaret, because the real purpose is get their names before YouTube breaks us up. We got 1.45 million friends. We don't know their names. We don't know their email addresses. We should probably have a field in there for text messages, because a lot of folks don't even use emails to connect. Most people watch our videos on their phone, so let's add a text message. Let's add a phone field there. The number one purpose of afteryoutube.com is to connect with our viewers before YouTube pulls us apart forever. Because if I wake up one morning and the YouTube channel is deleted, the same way Huffington Post employees woke up and find huffingtonpost.ca deleted, how will I ever be able to talk to those 1.45 million friends again? You have to work with me, dear viewer. You have to tell me your name and email address. I promise you can unsubscribe at any time. I'll never give your name and email to anyone else. You've just got to let me know who you are if you want to keep talking to us when we're canceled. So that's part of the plan, is to have a plan B, is to have a way to live without YouTube. But that doesn't really give me an immediate solution to this $30,000, $35,000 a month hole in my budget. And so, what do? Do I go and find a corporate benefactor? That's what that's what Huffington Post did. They just went to BuzzFeed and said, hey, you got a lot of money, can you give us the money? I'm not going to do that, because that'll change who we are. The only people, I could go to Justin Trudeau. He's handing out scads of money to mainly left-wing media. I think they would be delighted to get an application for a bailout from Rebel News, because they would say, yeah, they finally bent the knee. So if I can't take money from Justin Trudeau, and if I can't take money from a corporate boss, well, what's left? I'm not independently wealthy. The answer, again, is you, my friends. I need to plug a $400,000 hole in this company that YouTube just drilled with their fake excuse. I took you through the harmful and dangerous. I read every single part of it. Nothing there applies to us. And the pandemics, we don't deny that COVID exists. We don't talk about homemade remedies. We don't say there's microchips in the vaccines. We don't know what the vaccines do to fertility because it hasn't been tested yet. We're worried about it, but we're not saying they do or don't do things. So you can see it was a spurious reason to demonetize us. You can't trust big tech. You can't trust Facebook. You can't trust Twitter. You can't trust any of them. In the time we have left on YouTube, I have to fix that $400,000 hole. And if you go back to afteryoutube.com, you'll see the first thing is, please tell us your name and address so we can contact you. We got to fix that language. Second thing is, follow us on other platforms. Right now that goes to our Rumble page, but it will have the Twitch and DLive and BitChute and Locals and Odyssey links too. And the third is, and we can change the language there, we say you can donate to us directly here. I think we want to change that. You can help us make up the $400,000 shortfall here, because that's what this is about. This isn't, hey guys, donate. Hey, we're always asking for donations for this or that. This is specifically, you can help us make up the $400,000 YouTube shortfall here. Can we change that language also? Now click on that. What does that say when you click on that? There's me looking mad. YouTube demonetized us and we need your help to help us cover the lost revenue. Oh, we've raised $800 already. That's great. We should probably, I'll tweak the wording later. We should probably mention that it's 400,000. That number didn't, the goal of 400,000, that didn't just come out of nowhere. That's the rough amount we make on an annual basis. And what bugs me so much about that is not ad money. I can understand YouTube saying, hey guys, we have this really, really far left-wing bank, and they only like advertising with far left-wing sites, and you guys are too conservative. We don't want to put our customer, woke capital or whatever it's called, on your site. Okay, I get it. Your customer, your bank. But why is YouTube stopping our 1.45 million subscribers from giving us $5? What business is that of theirs? I say again, when I asked our YouTube rep last night, can you show me what we've done wrong? The answer was, well, there was nothing I was pointed to. And I keep a keen eye on this. We're very attentive to it. So that's the situation we're in. And this happened last night after, 5:30, I got the email. So we had a big staff meeting this morning. There's a couple things we're doing that I'm not quite going to disclose yet because I don't want our rivals or YouTube itself to know what we're up to. But the good news for you to know is that we have been contemplating a plan B for a while because we were roughed up a bit people tried to deplatform us in 2017. We survived that and got a little bit stronger. And I'm certain that more will come. I should remind you that just a week ago, I revealed to you that the U.S. Navy contracted with a defense contractor at the University of Arkansas, and the Canadian Armed Forces contracted with that same defense contractor to do a hit piece on us, to smear us as some sort of foreign internet meddler or whatever. For all I know, it's the U.S. Navy report smearing us was given to YouTube, and that's what made the decision. I asked for examples, and none was given. Go to stopspyingonus.com for those who don't remember that. They literally hired a defense contractor to make the claim that we're some sort of bad faith, like Russian troll or something. They even got it weirdly wrong where we're based. It was just really, really weird. Justin Trudeau hired a U.S. defense contractor to spy on Rebel News. Yeah, he did, and so did the U.S. Navy, both of whom think that the greatest threat is not China, Al-Qaeda, or Russia, it's us. And if you scroll down, you can even see their spying documents. The email, yeah, it takes a while to load, but if you go down, it doesn't matter, we don't have to show it. So I don't know, is that a coincidence that a week ago the U.S. Navy and the Canadian Armed Forces reports on us were made public, and then this week we're demonetized out of the blue and they can't point to, I don't know. It's a coincidence, and the thing is, you never know with corporate censorship. It's not like, if the government comes to censor you, at least you have your day in court and you can know your accuser and you can look at the evidence, but not here. Here it's just an email, and you phone the person if you're lucky, and they just really don't tell you anything. So that's my report. It's not a fully complete report because we have more work to do, but it's a really three steps. Step one, and the most important by far, is you've got to tell us your name and email address for when we're finally shut down, because otherwise how will we ever connect with you? That's the most important. Step two, in the days ahead as we set up and finalize more alternative sites, to follow us there. And we will push our traffic there rather than to YouTube. And the third one, and this isn't for everyone, but it's for those who can, please go to that website, afteryoutube.com, and whatever you were going to super chat to us, some people give $20, some people give 100. Yesterday, someone gave $500, although that was earmarked to a third party. Whatever you were going to give to us on Super Chat today, can you please go to afteryoutube.com? And I know that's a bit of a hassle. It's a couple of clicks extra. But the good news is YouTube doesn't scoop its 30% cut. I don't know if you know that. All right, if you go to our pinned comment on the chat and click on it, you go to afteryoutube.com. All right, well, I've taken up 43 minutes, and my friend David Menzies is just here, and Sheila's on the line. David, you want to scooch in, and we'll just kibitz a bit? I'm sorry to keep you waiting there, but I just wanted to go through things methodically. And David was just out of the screen here. He was there. I don't know if Sheila's on the line, or I don't know if we can have the three of us here together. Is Sheila on the line, or did she? I had asked to sit in, because David, normally you and Sheila do this on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I just wanted to tell our people what was going on. And I think I was very candid about everything. I read the letter, the entire letter, every word of it. I read every word of the harmful and dangerous section of YouTube. And I said our plan, which is not fully formed, but it's coming along. And what do you make of all that?
You know, Ezra, what I can only think of is, if I can just get a little personal with an anecdote here. Back in the 70s and 80s in Ontario, we had a guy called Donald Sims. He was the head of the Ontario Censor Board. And his nickname was Donald Scissor Sims. And he would literally take out his scissors and cut scenes out of movies. one of the movies was Dawn of the Dead, which I think had more than 3.5 minutes removed by Donald Sims. And one time we were in a repertory cinema and we saw the censored scenes. And one was a decapitation, one was a zombie getting killed with a screwdriver. Things you would see in primetime TV today. Anyways, the Ontario Censor Board moved on from Donald Sims, and then we had this liberation, the internet. It was the Wild West. You could see everything. There was no censorship. You mentioned Google's old logo slogan from 10 years ago. Now what we're seeing, I think, is a level of censorship that makes Donald Sims, the Scissor Man, look like a cartoon character. These guys are the terminators of censorship. All the liberty, all the freedom that the internet was supposed to give us, it is being obliterated. What for? Thought crimes. You said harmful and dangerous. Yeah. And then to give another 80s reference, Clara Peller, the spokeswoman for Wendy's. Where's the beef? Yeah. We're not telling people to eat dangerous things. We're not advocating suicide. We're not advocating smoking and vaping. So there's no there. Yeah. This is what's really frustrating. This is all about, they don't agree with our political stance, but hey, you know what, we'll let bygones be bygones. Just bend the knee, come on over to the woke side, surrender your principles, and you'll get your breadcrumbs back. And that's what they are compared to, as you said, a site like the Young Turks, where, what are they getting with a 1.5 million subscriber base? Literally millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, and YouTube promotes them, what they call boosting them. In a way, the fact that YouTube 85% demonetized us back in 2017 forced us to rely on our viewers.
Yes.
That's where we really dug into crowdfunding. And we just started getting it back up again. 400 grand a year, like that's a real amount of money. That can cover a lot of things. And to have it, you know what bugs me the most? It's if we had done something, like you described some shocking scenes from a horror movie. Yeah. If we had done something shocking, and they said, Ezra, this is too far. Yeah. Okay, we could have talked about it, we could have figured it out. Maybe they would be right, or maybe we'd say, okay, I could see that and let's re-edit it. But they couldn't provide a single example. Yeah. I went through every single section of that harmful and dangerous. Yeah. None of that applies to us except for the pandemic chat. And we're quite careful about it. And they can't point to anything we've done. Yeah. And I asked on the phone call with our rep yesterday, was there a video? Yeah. Oh, no, it's just in general. Well, in general, what does that mean? And very frustrating. But I also know that this will not kill us.
Thank God.
Because I know that just 3 months ago we had a bit of an existential threat when a banker who had bought a loan we had borrowed for 380 grand, almost the identical amount, called in the loan in his, I'm not going to say a sneaky way, but a last minute way. And I'm not mad at him. I mean, he had the right to do so, but I didn't like the fact that he sort of sprung it on us a week before Christmas. And our viewers came through in big time, and I thought, oh, that's a bit of a miracle. So I know that the thing to do when you're in a pickle is to ask for help, and that's not a real guy thing to do. It's not a guy thing to ask for help because you feel a little bit weak and embarrassed. And even though I've done nothing wrong, I feel slightly embarrassed that we've been demonetized completely. I'm even embarrassed to the 2,000 people watching right now who are thinking, why can't we do a super chat like normal? What's wrong with you? Something must be wrong with you if I can't do what I want. But there's nothing wrong with us. We didn't do anything. It's YouTube that's the problem with. But I believe that we can come through this. And my goal, I don't know how much time we have left on YouTube, 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it is. Maybe one day. Maybe tonight we'll be kicked off. But between now and then, I want the maximum number of people to just tell me your name and email address. Please, please, please. The 2,200 people watching right now, please go to afteryoutube.com and tell me your name and email. You can unsubscribe anytime, I promise. Just tell me who you are. So if I'm banned tomorrow, I can send you an email saying, hey, come and visit me here. Now, I understand Sheila's on the line from out west. Sheila, who's been hanging on there. It's 12:49 out here, 10:49 out there. Sheila, I'm sorry I took so long, but I just wanted to go through things methodically. What are your thoughts on this news?
Well, I'm glad you did go through it methodically, because it's very hard to do that given how vague everything is when you're dealing with these people. It's like getting pulled over by the cops when you're going, 10 kilometers over the speed limit, but also you threw some garbage out the window 10 kilometers ago and the cop pulls you over and says, "Do you know why I stopped you?" Well, it could be for anything, really. But that's what it's like dealing with these people, because they say, well, you published something that was harmful and dangerous. But what does that mean? Tell me what I published, and specifically speaking, tell me how I violated your stupid rules.
Yeah.
Because that we don't publish things that are harmful and dangerous. In fact, we publish things that are the opposite. We're very concerned about the lockdown because we think the lockdown is harmful and dangerous. We're critical of things like medical assistance in death, which I think the left are very pro, because we think it's harmful and dangerous. We're the opposite of that which they say we're being. And we published videos, as you say, like 17,000 of them, to that effect. I mean, there's this catalog of who and what we are that exists on the internet. And if you think that we are those things, please find it. You have 17,000 opportunities to find it. And I think that's one of the things we have to really protect against, is once these videos are gone, once we're disappeared forever, then our enemies get to decide who and what we are, because that record, that catalog of who we are and what we are, it's scrubbed from the face of the internet forever, and then we get to be redefined. And this was really set in motion, I think, when Donald Trump won the election, because he really won the election on social media and on YouTube, and he was sort of memed into power. And the left, and I'll lump Google, of course, into that, they realized that. And, one of Trump's greatest faults is that he didn't deal with Google when he had the chance. And in Canada, we are really just wide out in the open, because we don't even have a conservative movement who has this on their radar. Aaron O'Toole just gave a speech, didn't even mention social media censorship. He's going to lose because of that. And any number of other things, but specifically because of that, conservatives are going to be completely scrubbed from these large social media platforms. And, we are scrambling a little bit, but we have had Plan B in the works for a while, and I'm very glad. But I mean, every day that we exist on the internet as we know it is a day I think we're on borrowed time. Yeah.
I think you're right. David, any reaction? I don't know if you could hear all of that, but Sheila was basically saying that one of the things, and I think she's right, is Trump was memed into power. The tech companies said, we'll never let that happen again. That's why we were demonetized in January 2017. Canada, in some ways, is even worse. If you look at the Heritage Minister, Stephen Guilbeault, his mandate right now is censorship. It's the number 2 bullet point on his mandate letter from Trudeau. That's like his job description. Number 2 is censor social media. Well, who in Canada would be top of the list other than us?
Yes.
And Aaron O'Toole hasn't said a word about any of this.
Yes, funny. Last summer, wasn't Aaron O'Toole the pro-free speech, anti-cancel culture candidate? Well, he's gone off that reservation, clearly. Ezra, even before there was an internet, there were, governors that would, I guess, govern free speech, libel, slander, defamation. We don't do any of that, much less advocate dangerous or harmful behavior. And I'm just going to say something right now, and it's going to make me sound, I think, like some naive rube. What is happening to us by this company, it is unfair. There is no fairness. And I guess it's kind of like the Tina Turner song, "What's Love Got to Do with It?" Well, when you're a Silicon Valley tech giant in social media, what's fairness got to do with it? This has nothing to do with libel, slander, defamation, harmful content, dangerous content. Come on, let's call it as it is. We know that, you know that, everybody knows that. This is just about having a politically incorrect viewpoint when it comes to the woke left. This is why we're getting the guillotine here, nothing else. And when you have Guilbeault, the convicted criminal, if I understand correctly, this convicted criminal, is coming after us as well from the legislative perspective. So it's kind of almost like, rebel versus everybody.
Yeah.
And if you are supporters of us folks, Ezra gave you the mandates in terms of giving us direct donations, and I am hopeful, because you are hopeful, Ezra, that we are going to recover from this body blow. You might have knocked us down, but you haven't knocked us out as much as they'd like to. And like you said, maybe that's coming in from Silicon Valley in the days and weeks ahead. Who knows? But I think with our supporters, you can make a difference. You can keep us functioning because you see the kind of enemies, these are the same kind of forces that we've spent more than 5 years fighting in giving the other side of the story. They're trying to squash us like a bug, but we're not going away without a fight.
Yeah. I mean, as I said to the staff today, it's got to be nerve-wracking to know that our primary medium, YouTube, is hunting us now. That's got to be scary. And if we were Huffington Post or BuzzFeed or the National Post or whatever, the axe would be coming out and they would be hacking jobs.
Yeah.
They don't care about the staff, and their staff don't care about them. It's a mutual hate society. Seriously, no one hates the National Post more than the National Post reporters. We saw that when they had their struggle session. Yeah. But the one message I said to the team, and I want to let our viewers know that, is that I am choosing not to bend the knee ideologically, and I'm choosing not to cut 400 grand out of our payroll. I'm just not going to do that. I'm relying instead, I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm literally jumping, hoping that I'll be caught, by saying to our viewers, frankly, most of this $400,000 was going to come from Super Chats over the course of the year. So to the people who are watching literally right now, please go to afteryoutube.com and chip it in directly. And actually, by the way, for the first time, we'll be getting more than 70% of it. I think I often said we get 70% of the YouTube Super Chats. Well, if you give via our website, afteryoutube.com, I think we're going to get like 97%. It's just the credit card fee that's in the way.
Go ahead. And I know our enemies, our haters, are going to go, oh, look at Rebel News begging again for another handout. But as you've said in the past, isn't this, folks, the most honest way of fundraising? Completely voluntary. Yeah. As opposed to the CBC, the $1.5 billion welfare case, $600 million and more to the newspapers, the magazine fund, $2 million to Maclean's. That's a direct withdrawal from your paycheck, whether you like it or not. It's kind of like the 1994 Rogers negative option billing. Yeah. We're gonna bill you for channels you didn't want. It's up to you, but you can't even opt out. It is a fact of life, and like you've said, Ezra, this is an honest way of us staying on the air. And does any of our supporters want us to bend the knee? I mean, I can't, I think of some of the questions Prime Minister Trudeau has received over this pandemic, Ezra. What shampoo do you use, Mr. Prime Minister?
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think from Reuters, Mr. Prime Minister, how do you prevent yourself from succumbing to burnout?
Yeah, right? That's right.
Commuting a flight of stairs down to give an 11 a.m. press conference that he's always late for. And what puts my neck hair on edge is when I see Trudeau receiving these questions, Ezra, and what is his reaction as the questions coming out? It's this smile. Yeah. It's like the lion tamer who has put the king of the jungle on a little stool. Yeah. And it's like, look at this. Yeah. I've got, as you've said, the watchdogs are the lapdogs now. Yeah. Do you want us to be another lapdog? Yeah. Well, we are not for sale.
That's right. Well, listen, thank you, David. It's 1 o'clock. Now, I'm going to excuse myself and get back to other things. But if you and Sheila have time to stick around, we did manage to get some Super Chats. I'm not sure how. Was that on the other channel? Is that how? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to scooch out of here. I'll unplug and I'll let you wire up your IFB, as it's called. So Sheila, I'm going to throw back to you. Why don't you start on the Super Chats, and I'll scooch out of the studio here, and I'll let David take over. Thanks to both of you for letting me get the first 45 minutes out of the way on my own. And I believe we'll get through this, just like we got through the bank loan issue in December. And David, you're exactly right. Other reporters will laugh at us and say, ha ha, they were demonetized. Ha ha, they're asking for donations. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. And that's the most honest way to live if my alternatives are to ask Trudeau for a bailout or to ask Rogers Corporate or other woke capital for a bailout. I would rather live or die by the support of our 1.45 million grassroots subscribers than from any bizarre prime minister, CEO, whatever. And that's why we need folks to go to afteryoutube.com, because I'm just so worried they're going to cut me off from the 1.45 million of you. I'm going to scooch out of here. David and Sheila, thanks. Sheila, you pick up the Super Chats, and then I'm going to get out of here and let David take over from here.
Thank you, Ezra.
Well, that was it was depressing, but also not depressing, because we always receive such generous support from our Rebel supporters, especially when we need that support the most. And everybody bear with me, because it seems as though I have a light that blew out all of a sudden and my Skype feed is breaking up a little bit. So I'll get to the Super Chats, and hopefully my internet connection will hang on as long as possible. And if you'd like to send us a Super Chat, I know Ezra pointed this out earlier. For now, if you want to go to the Rebel News Clips channel on YouTube, I think we're restreaming this feed over there, and you can leave a Super Chat there, and Justin will snag it and send it to me, and I'll read it on air. And that's one way that you can support us, I guess, for today and in the near future, until YouTube figures out that we're doing that. So let's get to these. The first one is Pink Phoenix Nails. That's Catherine. And she gives us $2, and she says, I support Rebel News. Keep up the good fight. Thank you so much, Catherine. Catherine was one of our I Will Open cases, and she opened her nail salon in defiance of the lockdown. And she took a lot of heat for that, but I think everything worked out for her in the end. Julia Power gives us $25. Thank you very much, Julia. Power to the people. Humans will prevail over vaccinated zombies. Thanks, Rebel News. Chris Skade gives us $10. Look at twitch.tv. Lots of YouTubers have moved their content to that platform, lots more freedom, and they have a partnership program. The thing with Twitch is that I think they're owned by Twitter, and Twitter is pretty darn censorious. So I think it's one of those things that we'll have to consider. I think we're going to have to be like Johnny Appleseed, just spreading content all over the place until we figure out the ones that work for us. But yeah, I think there's a few that we need to be a little bit wary of. Just in Time gives us $2.79. Heard good things about Subscribestar, and shout out to Justin. There we go. Perfect. Mark Owens gives us $21.21. Big middle finger to Trudeau, YouTube from United States. Greg G gives us $5. Trudeau is having you shut down. No question he's part of it. I don't know if he's part of it, but he's certainly not going to help us right now. And he's definitely not offended by any of it. Ute Ward Zoni, I think is how I say that, $5. I'm proud of being a supporter since 2015 and will make sure to increase my donations in the coming months. Thank you so much. You're doing excellent work. Keep it up. Thank you. You know, I'm very proud of the work that we've done, especially during the pandemic. You end up helping people on their very worst day. They've received a lockdown ticket. They're being snatched off to quarantine. They're being forced to close their business. So instead of just telling their story, which for me, I think if I don't offer them a solution, I feel like I'm exploiting them. If I don't offer them some kind of help at the end of showing up on someone's worst day to tell their story. And so that's been my major focus during the pandemic, is swooping in to help people through Fight the Fines, through I Will Open, and through our coverage of the churches. And without this this sort of revenue stream that we have from YouTube that they've now snatched away from us, it really does hinder our ability to do that work.
And Sheila, if I may, I'm taking, I guess, some encouragement from my interview. It hasn't been posted yet with Derek Noble of Noble Toys, based in Bolton, one of our I Will Open and Fight the Fines cases. He was at the anti-lockdown protest on Saturday, as were several thousand, and talk about herd immunity. The cops didn't dare haul away anyone on that day. And you know what Derek Noble told me? This is a fellow, folks, if you don't know his story. Before Christmas, he was sick and tired of the lockdown. He is in the toy business. You buy toys before Christmas to give as Christmas gifts if you have young ones in your family. And he decided to open up. And I can tell you, he had bylaw come down on him. He had law enforcement come down on him. If you can imagine, the Attorney General of Ontario sent this little toy shop owner a letter saying, shut down or you might even be thrown in jail, from the Attorney General's office, if you can imagine. Yeah. And also friends, family members, loyal customers, the woke set, we're never doing business with you again. Oh, sounds like a bad story, doesn't it? All this harassment, all these threats, losing friends and family members. Guess what? The bottom line in a business is the bottom line. And Derek Noble is having the best year of his business ever. He is getting orders for his toys as far away as Australia. You know, he has people driving 5 hours, you know, from Northern Ontario to shop in Bolton to support him. So the point I'm making, Sheila, is that it doesn't make sense to bend the knee, and actually it can be very profitable to take a rebel stance, which we will continue to do on other platforms. And I think our folks, if I know our folks like I think I know our folks, they will support us. We will be the online Noble Toys of the internet.
Yeah, I think so too. And, you know, taking the opposite, but also the same position, in that they don't really care about profits, but they care about customers, I guess is the right word. Look at Grace Life Church.
Yeah.
Small church, very vigorous and active congregation though. But once they started taking a stand, and again, they're not doing this to be political. They're just doing this because they're being, and not even in an act of civil disobedience. That's not how they would describe it. They say we're being obedient to God. Yeah. But doing what you think is right, for them, they desire to have a full church and bring as many people to Jesus as possible. And for them taking a very open stand, that they are open, that they're not going to back down, their church is overflowing with new people, old people, people who just want to be there. The parking lot is full. They're at capacity. They seat 600 and they're beyond that every single week. People are listening in their parking lot. That's, if you stand up and do the right thing, there are people out there willing to support you. And so, yes. You know, I think that's what we're doing. We have some of that moral conviction that I see in Grace Life Church every single week, that, you know, if YouTube wants to crack down on us because we are telling the other side of the story, a story I think we need to tell, well, then so be it. We'll find another way. We'll continue to find another way because the story must be told. Let's keep going. Sorry, I did that one. Neil W. gives us $10. Thanks, Ezra, for what you guys do. Well, what about me and David? Thanks, me and David, too.
No, listen, Ezra, the meeting we had this morning, it sounded so doom and gloom at the end, but at the end of it, at the beginning, I should say, but at the end, I was re-energized, Sheila, because of Ezra's words about reminding us that, you know, when we have our back to against the wall, that's when we tend to excel. And we're going to get out of this, just like we got out of that called $400,000 loan. It's kind of uncanny. It's the same amount, isn't it, that we're being hurt by again. We will endure. We will continue to thrive.
You know, I think I'm best when I'm fighting something, fighting a righteous fight. I feel best. I feel like I'm doing the most to affect change. I feel like I'm making the world maybe a little bit better. I feel like I'm bringing, to use a Jordan Peterson-ism, some sort of order out of chaos. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm tackling an issue head on and trying to make sense of it and come out the other side. So you know what? I welcome this. If YouTube wants me to be better, great. Thank you. I will. Let's keep going. Annalisa S. Oh boy, that's a David super fan. $13.99. I'm furious right now. I just feel like crying. I bet you do, because you need to see your David every day. I'm sending you love and we'll be donating. As always, stay strong. Thanks, Annalisa.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate
Annalisa.
that. I tease because I don't understand your taste in men, and there's obviously somebody for everybody.
Oh, jeez.
But
Wait
you
a
are,
minute. This is getting harmful and dangerous all of a sudden.
David, you are dangerous. But Annalisa, I do appreciate your ongoing support of everything we do. You're a regular viewer, regular super chatter, your taste in men aside.
How dare you?
Chris Lynch gives us $10. I don't see a super chat. Thank you very much. Chief Executive gives us $9.99. I don't see a super chat. But again, thank you very much. Sorry, Justin, I'm all over the place with these. I know I lost my place on the message that you sent me, and I'm very sorry. So I'm making you work today. Al Koo gives us $34.99, and there's no super chat. Super generous though. Madam Dreamweaver, if that is indeed your real name, gives us $5. U.S. government expropriated Microsoft, and the FBI bought all associated with Google Inc., including YouTube, Facebook. I don't think Facebook is associated with Google, but anyways, and more. The Canadian government is okay with censorship since they don't act to protect rights. I believe the last part of your super chat is highly accurate. Punko gives us $15. I wonder how much money YouTube lost from demonetization. Clearly shows they care more about control of what is being said, power over money. You know, that is a great point.
Yeah.
Because they do take 30% of all of our super chats. And it's a lot. It's like consignment money, but it is their platform. They did develop it, whatever. I guess those are the terms and conditions. But they would rather do without 30% of our YouTube revenue than to allow us to have, freedom here on the platform. And it's not even really freedom, because we have to begrudgingly put warning labels on all of our videos and then carefully watch them, editorially speaking, to make sure that we don't run afoul of YouTube terms and conditions. Isabella M gives us $10. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. I went through those. Viking Insane gives us $2. The woke want to build back better.
666.
Dash Hunt gives us $100. Holy smoke. Thank you so much. That's so generous. Many thanks, Rebels, for the best news coverage in Canada in the face of increasing and disturbing censorship. Love you both. Appreciate that, Dash, very much. That's so kind. Quanko Chef. Hi. Good to see you over here on YouTube. Normally you're just a Twitter friend. $10. I hate that YouTube even gets 1 penny of this super chat. Yeah, me too. Is there a super chat style alternative that can be used so we don't have to line Google's pockets anymore? You know what? We are working on that. We're examining other options and best ways to continue to allow our supporters to support us completely willingly, unlike what the mainstream media gets with Justin Trudeau, just reaches into your pocket, takes your money, and then gives it to the CBC and other crappy mainstream media outlets that you don't want to support. We're having to get creative. We had that morning meeting this morning where we tossed around some ideas. We're continuing to examine different ways. There's got to be a way around YouTube. I think we're smarter than them, so we'll figure it out. It ran away on me again. I'm very sorry. I'm doing this on the fly. Ginger Marshall gives us $25. Thank you, Ginger. This is crazy what YouTube is doing, and doing it to several other members, in which you all should get together and leave YouTube. You know, there are other platforms developing.
Yep.
Maybe the other platforms will create a better platform, so then others will leave YouTube too. That's the thing. I think that's probably the only way to deal with this, is just to migrate away from YouTube and sort of put your money where your mouth is. If YouTube is terrible, we have to come up with a better alternative.
And you know, Sheila, if I may, this is part of the ongoing narrative that we see happening every day. You know, in the U.S., the Democrats here, the liberals, are supposed to be all embracing. We're all in this together. We're part of a big tent. But really, the divisions they're greater and greater by the day. It's like, you know, you are a Democrat or a Republican. There's no intermingling. It is two solitudes. And in the future, it's going to be like that on social media. When you are a leftist woke, you're part of Facebook and you're part of YouTube and Google. And if you are not that, you're part of all these alternative social media platforms. So this idea of a big tent in which free speech and diverse opinions are embraced, it's a falsehood. We are seeing an increasing division in society of these two solitudes, and there's no tolerance for having a politically incorrect thought, at least as far as the woke left is concerned. That's what I see happening with this kind of rubbish we're enduring right now.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting to hear it from the diversity is our strength crowd, because as they don't mean diversity of thought or opinion, ideas. They mean diversity, basically just color, just dividing people along the color of their skin, which is gross. But yeah, we're seeing, I guess, I don't know what the right word is, the ghettoization of people based on opinions.
Yep.
And, you know, social media and the internet now, that's the new public square.
Yep.
And you are forcing people into little parts of the public square and not allowing them to talk to each other, to understand each other. And really, it's going to foster more division and more intolerance, because now we can't even interact with each other. We can't communicate with each other. We're not allowed to see each other as what's the phrase? Not evil, just wrong or different. Now we are deciding that those people over there are evil. They're not even worth trying to understand, and they can't even come on our playground. It's disgusting. Yep. And I think it's going to cause serious societal problems in the very near future, because it's already starting. I mean, you have kids in university who need cry rooms and emotional support chickens on airplanes because they can't be exposed to people with different ideas. Yeah. We're in the book burning stage of the fall of Rome right now. It's not good. Excuse me. I've again lost my place. I'm very sorry. Very, very sorry. Richard Hunt gives us $5 and says, I'm a member of locals.com and can't find Rebel News. I think we're just setting up a Locals account today, I think. If I was paying attention to the meeting, and I kind of was, but I was also doing my makeup at the same time. Okay, so we're on Locals now. So that's great. Thank you very much.
You know, Richard Sheila, Hunt, I'm learning the names of new websites and platforms and portals that I never dreamed even existed. So I'm
from the internet, and I had no idea these things existed. So I have like a sticky note of things where I have to like join and save my name. Like that's I was like making notes in the meeting today. John Yoga gives us $5. Hey Rebels, stay strong. You have great fans, including me, even though I don't always agree with it all. You know what? I'm happy that you don't agree with it all, and you stick around to still listen to us. You don't flick us off, even though we say something that you might not like. That's the whole point, is it not? By the way, Menzies, wear a jelly belly tank top. No.
Actually, this is incredible, Sheila. Your wish is going to come true. I just cut a video last week. It has been posted. I'm working out with Chris Guy, and you'll see my jelly belly in a tank top. So be careful what you wish for, sir.
This harkens back to an email exchange you and I had last night, but we'll just save everybody that.
You don't want to mention the cat of nine tails part.
It harkens back to professional wrestling and some Chris Sky and drag. Anyways, it went to a strange place. Annalisa S gives us $6.99. Look at that adorable face on Menzies. He's cute in a puppy dog kind of way. Like a Shar-Pei. Like a baby Shar-Pei. I'm teased because I love. Viking Insane gives us $2. David Menzies, the Mike Palmetier of journalism.
Oh my God, that is Viking. Have you been like hacking into my computer or talking to my friends? Mike Palmetier is my all-time favorite Toronto Maple Leaf goalie ever. If you look at my hockey sweaters, they always have his number on it, 29. You are psychic, sir. I can't believe that reference.
Mr. Hammer Dance gives us $5.56. That's an odd, not very round number. But anyway, Google is hot garbage. I follow you on Rumble. Do you know what? Can we, guys, graphic guys, we need a shirt that says Google is hot garbage. I would wear that. Trent Poole, I'm just imagining other revenue streams. Trent Poole gives us $10. We really need to know who in our communities will support opening up our lives by putting a Rebel News flag or a Canadian flag out on our houses. I believe this will allow neighbors to talk and act. I think that's actually where we need to go. Like, we need to go off the internet sometimes and actually talk to people face to face. Because, again, back to this whole ghettoization of the people we relate to, just go talk to people face to face sometimes, because you can't get through the social media censorship to have an actual conversation with people that you want to discuss, things that matter to your neighborhood.
Sheila, I drove by a house in Toronto several months ago, and there was an Antifa flag flying from its flagpole. And that's tolerable in John Tory's Toronto. And I guess, hey, we support freedom of speech, but kind of funny, isn't it?
Tamil Tigers.
Yes.
Al Quds Day. Don't get me started about the naked bike ride, people. Oh, that's all fine. But yeah.
My eyes are burning.
Johnny McDonald, he's a no-go in Toronto.
That's right. Put a garbage bag on his head.
Jackie G gives us $10. Everyone that can donate, please do. We need Rebel News. And again, people who are just tuning in, if you want to super chat and you're watching on our main Rebel News YouTube page, they've completely demonetized us here, so we can't even take a super chat. So if you'd like to give a super chat and support us, because Google is evil, hot garbage, as that one person said, head on over to the YouTube clip or the Rebel News clips page on YouTube, and we're restreaming there, and you can throw a super chat in there and we'll read it here. Thank you. Will Ross gives us $10. This better be in powerful American dollars and not leaf coins or maple syrup or whatever you guys use over there. Canadian pesos.
Yes.
Chris Lynch gives us $2. Thoughts on Kenny not opening up to phase 3? I'm not happy with it, because we've done what he asked us to do. We're meeting those targets. We're way under the predicted variable spread. They said we would be like somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 people would be infected with this new variable strain by now. That's what they predicted back in January. I think we're under 200. Like, we have under the targets for phase 3 reopening in hospital. We've done what you asked us to do, but they keep moving the goalposts, and people are sick of it, and it's reflecting in Jason Kenney's poll numbers. And frankly, if he's a politician, so naturally he cares about self-preservation, he better open up fast, or he's in for a hell of a wild ride on election day. That's what I think. Let's keep going. Paul Williamson, there is no defending yourself when you are never told what the rules are that you're violating. Yes, exactly. Again, it's like getting pulled over by a cop and he says, do you know why I stopped you? And you're like, I don't know, could be anything. Could be anything. How long have you been following me is usually how I answer that question. Long live Rebel News. Trinoculus P gives us $20. Rebel News is taking flack over the target. A strong woman once said, "Don't try to ruin my life with lies when your life can be ruined with the truth." Gina Garicano, much love and respect.
Thank you.
Olga Jenny gives us $5 and says, ask yourself, who is subsidizing YouTube for the 30% they will be losing on your super chats? Knowing that might give you a little insight. I think it goes back to the prior super chatter who says that for these people, money is, or power is the real currency.
Yes.
Not money. They want to control your life and you want to be left alone. And they'll trade any amount of money for power over you. Fakeologist version 1 gives us $2 and says, get your own platform like mine. Search FakeOTube. Well, interesting. There's also new YouTube competitors being developed currently. And so, I mean, things are emerging all the time. It's sort of like what we do, David. We wouldn't exist if the mainstream media weren't so terrible. But instead of getting better, they just get more and more terrible. And I think that's going to happen to YouTube. These other competitors wouldn't really exist. There would be no market for them if YouTube were that which they claim to be. And that's a place for everybody.
But they want all the marbles, don't they, Sheila?
They want to control what you watch, what search results are returned to you. They want, and if you don't have access to that information to formulate an opinion, you're only formulating an opinion with the information they've given you. So naturally, your opinion looks exactly how they want it to.
And you know, it's going to get worse too on another front. Last week, I don't think we even chatted about this, Amazon paid $10 billion to the NFL to be the exclusive carrier of just the Thursday night games, folks. And this is the first time a social media company has gone in with a stake like this into sports. I see this because billions to these characters, Sheila, it's chump change. And you'll see sports and studios being bought by these tech giants, and the wokeism is just going to increase in every facet of our life. You just wait and see. This is the first foray of many more to come.
You pop open your Spotify app and all you get is the Obamas being pushed at you. It's terrible. Anyways, let's keep going. Axel Verstraeten gives us $5 and says, Trump, that's true. Yes, I heard about this. Trump is launching his platform in 2 to 3 months. Let's hope it has live capabilities, super chat, and all the bells and whistles. Love, Rebel.
Oh, I can't wait.
Just the fact that he would use the platform and use it regularly would be enough to migrate millions of people to it.
And you know, Sheila, this might be a nightmare in the making for the Silicon Valley tech giants for the way they deplatformed the president of the United States of America. When he starts this, I can only see it being super successful. Like I said, I can't wait. There are millions of people in America alone that will flock to that platform.
The best revenge truly is living well, isn't it?
Oh,
and
yes.
You know, if Trump succeeds on that new platform and helps the new platform succeed and makes the developers a lot of money just by existing on it, well, great. You know, too bad for Twitter, too bad for YouTube. Ginger Marshall gives us $5. I'm on Facebook dating now. They won't even put your gender anymore. Crazy.
Oh my.
I forget where I was signing up for something the other day and it was like male, female, and then it didn't just say like other or didn't want to provide. It was like a gazillion. And I wish I'd stopped and remembered what I was doing and written it down, because I was just like, this is so crazy. How did we get here in such a short time?
But Sheila, that is a prerequisite for a dating site. You know, men seeking woman, woman seeking men, woman seeking woman, men seeking men. If you don't put that in there, like how do you even convey or communicate who you're looking for? That's preposterous.
David, you don't spend enough time on some of the more ridiculous dark recesses of the internet, because these people will tell you, if you are not attracted to trans women, if that's not your thing, you're a transphobe. And it's like, no, I'm not transphobic. I don't care what you do, but I'm just not that. I have, like, people have a type. Like, some people like blonde, some people like skinny black-haired women with messy hair. My husband is that guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's somebody like Annalisa. Somebody for everybody. Everybody has a type. But if your type doesn't check the right social justice boxes, then you're whatever, insert the phobic of the day. It's crazy.
Well, how do you like that? I guess several months ago when Jonathan Yaniv was smashing that pink cane over my head and shoulders, those were terms of endearment.
Your head was being transphobic. And that's when you smashed it. David Anderson gives us $10. Already a Rebel subscriber. I pledge $10 per month more. Oh, thank you so much. Must be a federal election coming soon. You know, that's interesting. Could be the case. And then you hashtag WexZed. David, might I suggest that you tune into the Paywall Gun Show this week, because I have an in-depth, a nearly hour-long, I didn't intend for it to go that long, but this is the internet, so I can do whatever I want, with Jay Hill, the interim leader of the Maverick Party. And I asked him some prickly questions about some of the stuff that people will be critical of him as somebody who might be accused of vote splitting. And we know how vote splitting turns out here in Alberta. So, you know, I picked his brains about how he went from a federalist to becoming a separatist, and how he plans to, you know, move ideas forward, and what happens if there's a referendum in Alberta. So might I suggest that if you are not already, you said you're a Rebel subscriber, but David allowed me, you know, David, you just opened the door and I'm just going to walk through it. If you're interested in that sort of thing and you want to support us here at Rebel News, might I suggest signing up at rebelnewsplus.com for access to our paywalled shows. David's got a show. It's called Rebel Roundup. It's fun. We talk about our favorite stories of the week. There's the gun show where I talk to some of the like lesser known newsmakers and activists that don't really get featured in the mainstream media. There's Ezra's nightly Ezra Levant show. And so that's a fully produced topical show every single day. And Andrew Chapados has a brand new show called Andrew Says, and he talks to, I guess, some of the more high-profile newsmakers and activists. So there's something for everybody there, and it's a great way to reliably support the work that we do here at Rebel News while, there it is, thank you, Justin, while getting yourself a little something in return. And that's some great content just about, well, every single day of the week, plus the 3 weekly shows. So,
yeah, and consider joining the Producers Club if you can, folks.
Can we update my photo, by the way, on that? Who's that lady? Who's that Karen giving you trouble?
Don't worry, Sheila.
Putting your shopping cart away.
I'm not exactly an oil painting either. Maybe we need an update for everything.
You look like a Picasso. Anyways, yes. My guest this week is Jay Hill from the Maverick Party. So that's the federal separatist party that's just sort of in its infancy here in the West. So anyway, it's a great way to support us and get yourself a little something in return for just $8 a month. Olga Jenny, you give us $5. Olga, thank you so much today, by the way. You're really giving her on the Super Chats. If you're not already subscribed to the Rebel News Behind the Paywall shows, thank you, Olga. Go ahead and do it now. It's so worth the $8 a month. Thank you. I could not have said it better myself, and I literally just said it myself. Pamela Pelosi gives us $5. Started following you on Rumble, going to follow on Locals too. Thank you for all you do and never bending the knee. Well, thank you, Pamela. Appreciate that very much. Jason Watts. Rebel needs to drop a Randy Savage elbow on YouTube. Thank you. Or a big Hulk Hogan leg drop right across the throat. We will follow you wherever you are. Fight the real enemies together. Thank you very much.
It'd be great to see YouTube do a Craig the Hammer Valentine faceplant on the canvas after that elbow, wouldn't it, Sheila?
Oh God! If they didn't demonetize us, we're already getting demonetized. Okay. Ooh, things got away on me here again. C182 OPR $5. Opera web browser blocks ads on YouTube and other sites. You can play this demonetization game. Mr. Hammerdance gives us $2.23. All my super chats are calibers. Oh, I get it. Perfect. Thank you. I wish I had noticed that. I'm for firearms rights. I am too. Firearms rights are human rights. And firearmsrights.ca. That's the CCFR. That's their website, and you can go over there and buy some snazzy merch and support their lawsuits.
I'm with you. Firearm rights are human rights, but to the Justin Trudeau Liberals, firearm rights make you a enemy of the state.
Right. Well, gang violence is out of control in downtown Toronto. Somehow that's got something to do with me shooting gophers in the backyard. Picaro News gives us $50. Gosh, that's very generous. I think part of the problem is so many competing platforms, BitChute, Rumble, Twitch, etc., which is why I think Trump is making a mistake and starting yet another one. We need solidarity. I think maybe that's what he's doing by starting another one, is saying this is the one, come to this one, and throwing his support behind that. Richard Sherman gives us $5. Find a different pay system from PayPal. They will be the next to hit you. You know what? We always have a plan B, but also a plan C through Z. Gifford's Honey Farm gives us $5. I don't see a super chat. Very generous. Mr. G Rich gives us $5. The platform Rofkin is up and running already, and like YouTube, it also supports super chats, live streaming, and levels of membership. Reach out to them. Well, I'm going to write it down.
Sheila, is it just me, or does every social media platform have to have a really weirdo name to it? I mean, even Google, the first time I heard that, I think it goes back to 1998, I went, Google? I mean, where do they come up with these names?
Like Ask Jeeves? Are you nostalgic for Ask Jeeves? The little butler answers all your questions. There are people who might be watching us who were born after Ask Jeeves was a thing.
Oh, jeez.
It's very sad. Jeremiah Bullfrog. That's a fun YouTube name. Gives us $5. Make this continent great again. Cowabunga, my fellow patriots. Chris Lynch gives us $5. I'm a separatist, but Jay Hill is a joke. I got a screenshot of him trashing supporters who aren't registered members. I can email the screenshots. You know what, though, Chris? He's just the interim leader. So he's just, a placeholder. I suppose the Maverick Party and the separatist movement is what the members make of it and the people involved make of it. I'm not a fan of any leader of any political party as a rule. Annalisa S., she's back. She's back. She's got it bad for David. She has a $6.99, says, I'm on the paywall. I buy my membership yearly. Well, thank you very much, Annalisa S. Axel Verstraeten gives us $2. Schroyer interview might have broke the camel's back. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Although I didn't think that they said anything that was overly controversial there. Mika Shrednick gives us $20. Cheers from the Okanagan. Thank you. Joyful Heart gives us $5. I missed the beginning of this show. Could you switch to Rumble? We are already on Rumble. So, like I said, we're like Johnny Appleseed. We're just spreading content out all over the place across all different platforms and just seeing if something sticks. And I think we're all caught up on the super chat now. And again, if anybody wanted to leave a super chat, because we've been completely demonetized by YouTube on the main YouTube page, if you head over to Rebel News Clips, for now, that isn't yet demonetized. I anticipate that to happen any day, any minute now. You can leave a super chat there. We're streaming over there. Leave a super chat and Justin can send it to us over here.
Okay, we do got to go. We got to wrap this up. And as I've always said, folks, please, and I know I would bet the house that 90% of you have already read this book. Reread it, 1984. It was just 37 years too early. What we're seeing right now is Orwellian nightmare on steroids. And, just a very quick anecdote. I shopped for the DVD, 1984, put it into the player. It said, not available for this region. My 1984 DVD was
No.
censored. Perverse irony. Okay, I see a whole bunch of people doing this, that meaning either I'm crazy or we got to wrap this up. So,
both. It's
Sheila,
both.
thank you so much. We'll see you on Thursday, maybe. In the meantime, stay sane.